All right, good morning. Hopefully this is going to work today. If you missed me yesterday, and I'm sure some of you did, I get such a big viewership out of this. We did try to do this yesterday. I tried it twice, but somehow something happened to the connection, dropped out twice. So obviously I wasn't going to post 5-second or 1-minute videos yesterday. Would have been totally out of context. So we'll give this a go and try to make this run through this quickly. Greg Gianforte won in Montana, so the first of the special elections is over with. Republicans retained that seat that was occupied by now Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke. So they got that done despite the assault and battery charges, assault charges that were leveled against Gianforte after he body slammed a reporter from The Guardian the day before. That probably made a few people nervous, but it was reported that 200,000 of the 700,000 eligible voters had already voted early, and that probably meant that Gianforte probably had a decent lead right there. And so even if voters changed their minds at the last minute based on that whole body slamming incident, he probably was still going to be in good shape. So he had 51% of the vote. I believe Rob Quist, his challenger, had about 44%, with the rest going to a Libertarian candidate, which I'm betting took more away from Gianforte than it did from Quist. So he'll be seated very soon. We still have other elections to come, particularly in Georgia, but the Georgia Democratic challenger, who won the Jungle primary as such, seems to have a lot of issues and may not survive this next round, the special election, which has got, I'm just not sure that he's going to be able to gather the same level of votes he did before, and that the Republicans will unify together to keep the seat that was occupied by now HHS Secretary Tom Price. President Trump continued his world tour as such. I don't know what they're calling exactly, but I don't know. Maybe it's make the world great again or something like that. Anyway, he met with NATO leaders, and he even did something that is highly unusual. Is that he actually, in his speech, he scolded the NATO countries that were not paying up. I believe the number is 23 of the 28 countries have not forked over their fair share for NATO expenses, and leaving the U.S. and others to foot that bill. But it sounds like President Trump is, they'll put in their amount and that's it. They're not going to try to subsidize any other countries, and if NATO wants to be able to pay its bills, they need to be a little more forceful in their actions and get these deadbeats to pay up. Otherwise, you just kick them out. That may mean a smaller NATO, which would be unfortunate on the one hand, but when they signed up, they knew there were obligations and they couldn't put it off forever. It looks like at least President Trump is saying, stop the nonsense, pay up. Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals continued to fight against the administration and would not let the travel ban, the Trump travel ban, take effect. Still looking at what then candidate Trump said versus what he's saying now. I don't understand why the words that he uttered during campaign, which are full of lots of accusations and not a lot of promises that anybody can keep, why they're holding his feet to the fire on this. But the liberals are cheering. Just think about Great Britain and the attack in Manchester, and think about the fact that these kinds of things. If you have these kind of policing measures in place, you might have been able to prevent something like this, or at least slow it down. That Great Britain really doesn't know who a lot of these immigrants are. We have a better idea, though. It's obviously it's not perfect either, because you have people coming over the border and they're coming over illegally, and so you can't check them without stopping them and returning them to their own country of origin. Jared Kushner, the Trump son-in-law, under investigation for his ties to the Russians, and what did he know about the Russian whole thing. And this is going to turn out to be nothing, just like it has for Donald Trump. Grasping at straws, trying to nail the Trumps to the wall, and it's just not working, and it will not work. So they need to find something else that quits wasting our time, energy, and money. And maybe that'll help the news media actually focus on the news and not a lot of other garbage. And then finally, a begrudging thanks to, congratulations to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who beat the Boston Celtics last night and have now advanced to the NBA Finals to face none other than Golden State. Big surprise. All right, so two of the best teams in the NBA will be duking it out as such, and we'll see where that lies. Even though proximity-wise, I'm going to live closer to Cleveland than to Golden State. I generally like Golden State's players better, so we'll see. And the Penguins, Pittsburgh Penguins have done it again. They won the Stanley Cup last year, and they're going to be on the verge this year. They got by one of the toughest teams to advance, so congratulations are in order. But that will make my friends who are Pittsburgh fans insufferable, at least until I bring up the baseball team, which is extremely insufferable if you're a Penguins fan. Anyway, that's it. So have a great day, have a great weekend. Think about those that have served and given their lives so that we can be here and live in a free country. Visit a grave of a veteran, plant a flag, do something good. Think about those that are out there that have done so much good for us. All right, so that's about it. Thanks. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Hopefully you're off on Monday like I am, and we'll see you next week when we return.